West Ham are in the market for a striker this summer. Obviously, Gianluca Scamacca has left West Ham United to Atalanta for a fee, I believe, to be around £30 million. A Saudi team has come in for Antonio. They've been in talks for a while now. He may potentially leave as well. So that leaves Danny Ings, Mubama, and potentially Jared Bowen moving up to striker, which is something we'll talk about later on. But West Ham United are desperate for a new striker this summer. It is a position that David Moyes really wants to fill yet again. Now, there are a number of options we could be looking at for the striker role. I know Armando Broja, potentially of Chelsea, maybe going to AC Milan on loan. I wouldn't be surprised to see us try and hijack that move. Obviously, back when we were trying to sign Scamacca last year, he was somebody that Broja was somebody that David Moyes really was a big fan of, and actually I think wanted to sign ahead of him, but the hierarchy sort of opted for Gianluca Scamacca. Another player that we're really heavily linked with is Dominic Solanke. Now, he actually played against us in the first game of the season and scored. And I had to say, he's a player that I kind of turned my nose at and was sort of thinking a bit, I'm not really too sure about him, but he looked really solid against us. I can't lie. He wasn't the sort of big target man that I expected him to be. He was actually really good on the ball. He was brilliant at bringing other players into play in that Bournemouth side. And I think even David Moyes was quite impressed by him. So whether that's sort of, made David Moyes and West Ham fans sort of think to themselves, maybe Solanke is a player who we could be signing. I mean, he was one of the top scorers in the Championship, only second to Mitrovic when Bournemouth were promoted. He was scoring goals for fun in the Championship. Obviously, it's different league, but Mitrovic scored goals for fun in the Championship, came up to the Premier League and started banging in goals as well. So, it can be transferable. And he is a player that, to be fair, I thought was just a very one-dimensional target man who, he's just going to sort of wait for the ball to fall at his feet. But he's not, he does go out to the wing. He's quite good with his feet. And, look at the quick thinking and how alert he was when he scored for Bournemouth. Playing for a club like Bournemouth against West Ham, I think that'd be a really good move for him. We'd be very excited for it. The thing that would disrupt me a little bit is the fee, because obviously Bournemouth do not want to sell Solanke. I think he's one of their most important players at the moment, alongside Philip Billing. So he's definitely not a player that they want to sell. And I think the fee that we're being quoted with at the moment would be between 25 and 30 million pounds. Now, that's a lot of money for me. I mean, you look at Scamacca, we just sold Scamacca for 30 million pounds. I think that's a lot of money to put in someone like Dominic Solanke, who is unproven. Yes, of course, Scamacca was unproven, but his potential was so high, it's worth taking the risk. Whereas with Solanke, it's not the same situation of, he's got really high potential. I think he'll be a very decent striker in the Premier League, but he's definitely not going to hit too many heights in my eyes. So, is he the sort of player that we want to be signing him? And I'm not entirely sure. I think it reeks of desperation to me, trying to sign Solanke. Obviously, Bournemouth might be inclined to sell because they've been doing a lot of business this year. They're not the richest club in the world. But they have done a lot of business already this year. Tyler Adams, I think they're going to snap up. They're quietly having a very good window, to be fair. It's going very under the radar. But some of the players they're picking up, Justin Kluivert, Tyler Adams, they got that left back who actually we were interested in from AZ Alkmaar. Alex Scott as well, another player we were interested in. They're having a very good window, and they looked quite good under their new manager. So, whether they would be willing to sell Solanke when they're in such a strong position now, in terms of the players they've got, in terms of the market, the transfer market they've had, I'm not sure. But I think they would slap quite a big price tag on Dominic Solanke's head. So I'm not entirely sure. For me, I think Armando Broja makes the most sense for me. He's a David Moyes type player. He won't, he lives in London. There'll be no settling in, no bedding in time. Chelsea won't be desperate to sell, but I think they'll be inclined to sell, if we were willing to sign him. I mean, they've signed Nicholas Jackson and Kunku. Obviously, they've got rid of Kai Havertz, but, they've got two strikers up top already. Broja's kind of third in the pecking order. They've got other players who can play up striker as well. So, and obviously, they've just splashed, I think, a combined 170 odd million, 160 odd million on Lavia and Caicedo. Absolutely mental figures, crazy figures. The fact that Caicedo went for just 5 million more than Declan Rice, you think maybe David Moyes is right. Maybe Declan Rice did go for a cheap fee, but you know, I think he's someone that we could definitely be looking at. And of course, the final sort of question is there anyone in our squad at the moment who can fill that void of the striker role? Somebody that, you know, has been talked about moving to that striker role is Jared Bowen. Now, he doesn't especially like the centre forward role. You know, I think we've tried it before. We've tried getting Jared Bowen to that striker role, and he hasn't exactly liked it. So I don't think that's necessarily an option. And also, you've got Maxwell Cornet, who could potentially take up that position as well. For me, I do think we need to sign a striker, and Armando Broja and Solanke are probably the top two at the moment that I can see. There's not many other names that are jumping out at me at the moment for West Ham United, but you know, Dominic Solanke is someone we're definitely interested in, and I wouldn't be surprised to see us make a move for him before the end of the window.